What's up, everybody? This is the one, aka Jodecideion on YouTube, and I'm bringing you the final part of episode 14, Out from Side of My Neck, Gaming Matters, Online. If you've been watching episode 14, then you know we're talking about online gaming, online multiplayer. When should this feature really need to be added to games? When this feature is not added, should it take away from the overall quality of the game, especially if the game is built for a single player experience? We know the games that really need it: first person shooters, MMOs. We know the games that are benefiting from it: sports games, fighters, anything that's competitive. But now game developers feel they must add some kind of multiplayer, some kind of online multiplayer to all their games, even if the game is a single player adventure or action game. The part of this pressure being felt on developers to add multiplayer, to add online multiplayer to their games, part of it's coming from the reviewers, the game sites that review the games. Especially for Wii games, review site scores really affect if people purchase the games that are released. Let a Wii game that's supposed to be high profile and very polished get an average score. Watch how that game tank. I take The Conduit for example. But definitely on the HD consoles, if a game get a great score, odds are it's going to blow up. It's going to sell pretty well with their core gamer market. I've already shown you an example of a game probably getting a boost because of the added multiplayer. I've also showed you that when multiplayer is not expected, a game scores at a certain level. And when multiplayer is expected and provided, the jump isn't that big. Here, I'll give you another example. And I'll take it back to the beginning of the multiplayer era. You remember during the N64 era, PlayStation 1 era, once consoles start having 4 controller ports, games start getting multiplayer. So then, when that moved on to the next generation with the GameCube and PS2, that became the new standard. Especially on the GameCube that had the 4 ports built in. So every game should have the opportunity to have some kind of split screen, multi-screen multiplayer. The PlayStation had the multi-tap, and then the Xbox, it was hooked up to have LAN action. Using IGN as an example, on the GameCube, one of its first mega hits was released, Metroid Prime. The game scored with them a 9.8. And when it came under lasting appeal, I quote, they state, 30-hour plus average completion, requires much longer to earn 100%. And they gave the score a 9 for that category. Metroid Prime didn't have any kind of multiplayer, but at that time they felt it really didn't need it. So years later, Nintendo released the sequel to Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. And going back to IGN, they reviewed the game again. And this time the game got a 9.5 from them. A little bit down from the sequel. But what was different, it scored higher in the lasting appeal category. Now check this out. They said the game a bare minimum of 20 hours to complete the single player quest. 20 hours, down from 30 plus. But this game had multiplayer mode, so they gave it a 10. Now isn't that amazing? The game is shorter than the original by, at least 12 hours of gameplay. But it scored higher just because it had a multiplayer mode added to it. That really wasn't that good. On the Wii version, the final game of the trilogy, Corruption. IGN went back and reviewed that game, and that game scored a 9.5 overall. And for Lasting Appeal, they gave it a 9, just like Prime. Mainly, the game had no multiplayer. Even though it was 20 hours plus gameplay, more than Echoes, the lack of multiplayer, and especially being on the Wii, the lack of an online multiplayer, wouldn't earn the game a 10 in Lasting Appeal. It got a regular 9, just like its predecessor. So you tell me, multiplayer, online multiplayer, does it really count now? Will it make or break a game? So imagine the score new Super Mario Bros. Wii might receive from game sites. It's a game that has a multiplayer aspect to it, but that multiplayer is not online. And with it being on the Wii, it's expected to have online. Yeah, gamers, you may hate the Wii's online Wi-Fi connection. You may think it sucks. And it's kind of unfair, but it gets judged to the standards of the Xbox Live, to the PlayStation Network. So whatever those systems can do, people expect the Wii to do it. Which is real funny because people want to say the Wii is last gen, but they hold it to next gen standards. So imagine the score new Super Mario Bros. Wii might get. How they might dock some points for not having that multiplayer mode online. No, a bad review is not gonna tank the sales of this Mario game. Mario is golden. Mario always sells. Mario always brings quality. But remember, we're in the age that being a fanboy has gone to a whole nother level. And so fanboys, we hold on to whatever we can get. If our game has the best review score, if our game sells the most. So yeah, imagine that game getting some less points, and another game that's not even better than that get higher points. Imagine the type of bullshit we're going to deal with on YouTube just over that issue. And what about future games? The next Zelda. If there's no Hyrule multiplayer in that, will that game lose some points in the Lasting Appeal area? I mean, they sure hell can make a new Mega Man game in the old style, unless it has a multiplayer added to it. And how you going to do that? Let one person be Mega Man and then fight in an arena with 8 other people as the robot bosses? That would really be weird. That would kind of suck in my opinion. So gamers, we really need to get over this whole everything needs to be online. You know, the original Pac-Man was a one-player game, and you played it to get the most points. Just like Donkey Kong. Even Mario was about points, and then the end is about saving the princess. Something you did by yourself. So let's keep those games that are solo adventures, let's keep them like that. Before I finish this episode up, I really want to touch on this one matter. Gamers, we really need to get over this whole let's keep gaming to ourselves. Let's keep our societies closed. Let's not open our communities to new people. Okay? It's getting real old, and there's no way gaming is going to evolve and expand if we keep being so closed-minded like that. Okay? I know some of y'all feel that gaming should be only for the gamers. You know, y'all were the guys getting made fun of back in junior high and high school because you had Mario Brothers t-shirts and you liked Sonic the Hedgehog and you spoke about that in public. And girls might thought you was weird and laughed at you and you couldn't get dates and got beat up. I mean, whatever the issue is, man, really, get over it, man. Gaming has changed since then. And that's why I feel online is so important to these gamers. Because they know when they're playing online, they're connecting with people just like them. They don't want to try to make new connections. And you have to do that when there's no online. When you have a multiplayer game, you have to go out and make friends, meet new people to get them to come to play with you. There's going to be no one judging you because they are just like you. It's real easy. And that's a damn shame. Because you really lose an opportunity to bring new people into gaming. And just, you know, practicing your people skills. Do you honestly think if there wasn't no Xbox Live and all these games were being played in arcades, that gamers would have the balls to call someone gay or the N-word to their face? Yeah, I don't think so either. This is the one. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I promise to be back soon. Peace.